Hey everyone, this is Robin from Designhill and your host for the day. I hope you and your family are keeping well and safe. I would like to welcome you for this session where we are going to talk about how to survive as a self taught designer, illustrator, and artist in 2023. Today's event is brought to you by Designhill, world's leading creative marketplace that caters to the creative needs of businesses and individuals alike who can source high quality designs from professional designers and buy unique products created by independent artists. So, moving ahead, let me introduce our speaker for today. We have with us Denisa Herman. Denisa is a Barcelona based freelance illustrator and graphic designer. She is a self taught designer, illustrator, and started on this path 5 years ago, debuting with illustrations for UI. However, she gives huge credits to personal projects such as 100 Days Challenges, which launched her into this career. She began with pen and paper, creating one illustration every day, and no single day was skipped. She then moved to Adobe Illustrator and finally to Procreate. She says that with access to the internet and rigorous disciplined time management, anyone can become a designer if you turn your dream into a system of habits. Welcome, Denisa. So, would you like to say a quick hi to our audience?
Hi everyone, and thanks again for having me, Designhill. So I'll get to talk to you very soon after the ad. Thanks.
Great. So, before we start the session, here is the big announcement. We are giving away certificates to all the attendees, but for that, you would have to stick till the very end. So, before we start the session, let's quickly look at what Design Hill is all about. I think there is a system error. We are not able to play the ad. So, Denisa, you can start presenting your screen and just start your workshop.
Of course. Okay, so first of all, let me share the screen and let me know if you all can see it. It's okay? If you want, you can also write in the chat if everything is okay and you can see it, because otherwise I'm not really sure. Perfect. So before I start, I want to take the moment to let you know that you can greet each other in the chat and use this chat to connect to each other. Tell about yourself, ask questions. Also, at the end, you're gonna be able to ask as many questions as you want. You can connect with me also afterwards. Connect with each other. This is the most important thing. This is why I like most of the time to attend webinars, because I can also meet other illustrators or artists or freelancers from all over the world. So introduce yourself, put your Instagram there, or Dribble or Behance, whatever you have, website. And it's like create a community, a small community based on this chat right now. So I'm gonna start with my presentation. It's called Don't Cry, Survive. It's I don't know if anyone saw Drive to Survive from F1. It's series from about Formula One, and I really like that. It kind of motivates me, because in that world, it's really the survival of the fittest, and this is basically how it is right now in the world of designers and freelancers, especially self-taught freelancers, freelance designers. So I'm going to talk about, first of all, a little bit about AI and the current situation, but it's going to be more of a motivational tone, and also, let's say, positive. So the idea is not to cry about AI, but to use it in our advantage. Then I'm going to talk a little bit about followers versus clients, how to share the work. I also explained about this in my previous talk, but right now it's more in depth about certain, let's say, social media platforms. And then extra skills that you should acquire as a designer to survive. and then final thoughts and conclusions. I just want to check one more time with you if everything is all right. And you hear me? It's okay. Good. So, AI. Actually, to be honest, I will start by saying that yes, I don't agree and I don't like the situation with one machine to create in 1 second images that other people trained for years. But at the same time, this was kind of inevitable. In like you could foresee this even from many years ago, because lots of other areas got industrialized, so to say. So it came the time that also for artists or images, it happens to them. So what I recommended myself when I first saw this is to not cry, to not lament, to not start to cry on social media about this, but find a solution. And it's true that AI is really at the early stages. It's not really gonna steal any jobs. Maybe it's gonna influence some clients in choosing just one designer to do those images, or instead of many designers. But it's not really that bad. The situation is not really that dark. So there is still hope to turn around this in our favor, but we have to concentrate on certain things and sacrifice some other, let's say, aspects that in the past it was easy for us. For example, right now everything changed, even on social media. On Instagram, it's really hard to be content with just one image. People are not attracted to just like seeing one image and how beautiful it is. So they don't care anymore about too much about you posting about your personal life and so on. You have to make it interesting, engaging. Even those images from AI, they are very hard to get unless you really stay on those platforms to work on them. So basically, those AI systems are more or less just a tool. They are just a tool to get to certain desirable images. And clients who actually want to use images, they still go to designers. They wouldn't go themselves on these platforms and create these images, because what clients want from an illustrator or a designer or artist, they don't necessarily want the image itself, but their ideas. So in the end, we are not just, as I wrote here, artists are more than just their techniques, brushes, and style. This is what basically these AI systems are trained to do. They just get inspired, so to say, from other illustrators' art, but they don't come up with ideas. They don't come up with solutions to problems that clients have. So one way is to reposition yourself. One way to survive is to reposition yourself in this world, that we are not just tools to create cute images. We are problem solvers, and we are there to help the client and to convince the client that we are the ones that they should come to, not AI platforms, first of all, that can solve their problems and also turn their product into revenue. Example, create illustrations for package design that would attract the client, or not the client, sorry, the audience of the client, and so on. But we are coming up with ideas, not the machine. And the people who are using these machines are also, most of them are designers, are not just clients. On another tone is the thing is that I kind of think that this whole AI thing is filtering clients, because the people who don't really want to pay someone, they wouldn't come to us illustrators anyway. So actually, the ones who are using or who would use these AI systems are not clients that would have paid us anyway. So it's not like we really lose a lot here. We just probably lose emails where we have to say no to clients who probably want us to work for exposure and so on. And another aspect in this area is to concentrate more on what you can give to others and not on your process. I'm not talking here about your process as like how you draw, because that's very nice for other people to see. It's educational, and other people benefit from you sharing your work and your process. I'm saying about, I know that the most people who are upset with the whole AI thing are those who created themselves new styles. Other people get inspired from them, and it's basically very hard for them to accept the fact that one machine, it's even for me this, but it's very hard to accept that one machine can create their art or their skills in 1 second. So one way for them, and also for us, would be to accept the situation and not to be so emotionally attached to that, even though it's hard, and find solutions and to be more businessy, so to say. In this case, they can even use these AI tools to create images for their clients. So you can charge the same, but you go to these AI tools and you create your ideas, because the client paid for these ideas, and you can create in 1 second an artwork based on your style. Let's say you feed the algorithm, or not the algorithm, the system with your own illustrations, and then they create in a few seconds something that you would have taken hours to do. So you can turn the whole thing into something more positive. Clients don't care about your process. In business, clients care about the final product. They care about, of course, it should not be copied. But to be honest, in AI, the AI systems do not copy, and this is very clear. They do not copy or steal someone's art. They just are trained to see those images and recreate something in the same style, as if in the same style another person would create it or get inspired from. So my conclusion in this is that do more business than just art. Do art at home. Connect with your art and with your technique alone at home. But when it comes to business and making money, try to be as efficient and quick as possible if you want to be successful. But if you are like still into the world of like, oh, I want to connect people, I want myself to connect to the art, it's very important for them to know the process and how much I took for this. Yes, it's nice, it's inspiring, but in business, it doesn't really matter. What matters is for you to solve the problem and get going. And now we are talking about, this is how I get to followers versus clients and what matters most. You have to ask yourself this at first, and also think about time management. Right now, on Instagram, for example, it got to be very, very hard to actually get any views or likes or followers because of this rival that they have, and they try to be like TikTok. And I already, even today, I saw a tweet from Kyle Webster, who is a very, very good designer, very famous. He did brushes for Adobe. And he was telling on Twitter about how he has thousands and thousands of followers, but barely any engagement, any views. And he's like huge. So if you think that you're down and you don't get any views or anything, it's not just you. It's something about everyone is affected by this. But one positive way to start to change this into your favor is to think, okay, right now Reels are the ones who are more in favor, but do I really need to lose so much time on creating Reels, or I can use that time into marketing myself in another way, maybe on Dribble, maybe on Behance, and we are going to talk about certain platforms. But you have to think, you have to make a list of advantages and disadvantages, and what's more, what do you want? Because if you want followers, you will have to also introduce a little bit more about, sometimes in certain situations, it depends, also about yourself, maybe also about process. It depends what kind of followers do you want. Are you into entertaining? Are you into educating people? So you have to ask yourself, what do you want first? And then if you want clients, maybe just post more client work. Also post it, put it in a context, show how you use it, show how you use the illustrations or the product or the design that you've created, and don't concentrate on likes. Don't care about likes. If your level of oxytocin is based on this red, like likes and like the color of the notifications, all right, I meant, if you're concentrating on this, then you're going to be very discouraged, because really you worked so much on these reels or on these images, and you barely get seen. I mean, unless you pay for ads, which actually does work. But you have to ask yourself what you want, and why do you want those followers, or why do you want clients? Of course, it's very clear why do you want clients, to pay your bills or have more money. But followers, someone was telling me that me wanting followers is more like a vanity wish, or why do I want followers? It's actually a good way to also attract people on other platforms. So if you already have a very good growth on Instagram, if you start a YouTube channel or a Patreon, it's very helpful that you can announce there about this, and then you get automatically lots of subscribers on other platforms. But at the same time, it's not really the end of the world if you don't have too many followers and your work is good. It's the end of the world is if you don't actually make a revenue or a profit from your work. This is, at least for me, unless you're doing it for hobby. But we're talking about business here. Self-taught designers who want to make money and to live off of this job. I'm just gonna check very quickly if everything is okay. Oh yes, good. So it's very important to set your priorities, and also another recommendation. For example, if let's say you want followers, it's to think about, again, not about yourself, but what other people can get from you. And you can turn your page into a content creation, carousels with educational posts. One day, another day, you can post about your art and how you did it and what you solved, what problems did you solve through that art. You can have imaginary clients. It doesn't matter. What it matters is that at the end of the day, your priority should not be likes or followers, but what you can give to those followers, what they can get from you. And you form a community in this way. There are also people who will engage with you. Also, if you're at the beginning, it doesn't matter if you are like, oh my gosh, you might think, what can I show? Like, I barely know how to draw. Maybe what can I show people? What can I give them? You can give them from your experience, daily experience. That, for example, even what you learned, probably you found a YouTube link where you learn how to draw hands, let's say. You can share that, turn it into an Instagram post, and other people who are learning will find it useful. So that's why every experience holds a value, and even your struggles can be turned into, let's say, it may sound weird, an Instagram post or something, or a post on LinkedIn, where you can share your experience, and other people will connect with you and say, oh my gosh, yes, it's true. I also feel the same. This is also helpful for people. It's more like even motivational, or being in part of a community. For me, it was very helpful to see, for example, Kyle Webster's Twitter today saying that he barely gets engagement, because I thought, okay, it's not me, it's not my my work really sucks. It's just because this is how the algorithm works right now. And also, another thing is to experiment a lot, because what works for me might not work for you, or might not work for other people, or it might work. Just maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago, I saw a reel of an artist, and she was explaining this is how to get more followers. And then she would say that you should post more your face because people are attracted to your face. Post a lot about your personal life, but also your art. Post also process. And I agree that this is true, but at the same time, it depends on the personality of the person, of the artist, of course. But at the same time, it can be harmful actually to post a lot about yourself, about your like show your face or and so on. To some people, it might be attractive, to others not. And I can say for sure to lots of business or clients or business people who are interested in getting designs, they don't care really about your face, they care about your work. So think about really what you want. If you want to be entertaining, then yes, you can let's say make a mix of reels with entertaining aspects of your life, or if you're very entertaining, then use it in your advantage. But there is no set of rules or a list of rules that would make or help you blow or succeed. You have to experiment and try a lot what works, see. But it's very important to keep going and to be out there at least a few times per week, because just doing something repetitively, I'll find another word for this. Just doing something on a daily basis, or at least every 2 day daily basis, you'll be able to have or get inspired by your own mistakes in the past, and try something new. Or even when you are trying, let's say you have a challenge to do every day one illustration. Just doing that every day, you'll get you better than even yesterday, just by because you'll get bored to do something the same thing. So you'll try new things every day. And this is how it works. You just have to keep on trying, to keep on pushing. And it can take maybe 1 month, maybe it can take 1 year, maybe even more. But you have to keep pushing. Just don't give up. And it may sound cheesy and like, yeah, I hear this every day, don't give up. But it's true. It can be very disappointing, and you can be like, oh, I'm working every day on this Instagram, I barely get any views. But keep going, because you never know how one day you can blow up from just one reel or one post that someone, by pure luck maybe, saw it, who has lots of, let's say, other followers, liked it, and then would share it. So you never know, you just have to be out there. And I think it also involves a lot of luck, because as I told you before, it can be that someone like even Nike or who else, like who knows what other big client can see that and contact you. But you have to be out there, you have to know what you want. If you want both, it's going to be very hard, at least in my view, because it's very hard to find a balance between keeping people engaged and also keeping clients on your page, and not really distance them from you if you post something that doesn't really matter for their business. So you'll have to find a balance in this. And but at the same time, if you take it also as a business and don't make it all about yourself and, oh my gosh, I worked so much on this art, look at it, that's not really valuable, unless, yeah, it's a piece of art and it's very beautiful to look at. But think of let's say content that bring value also to others, and this is how people will follow you and clients will contact you. And this is how we get to the aspect of how to share your work, and also about platforms, social media platforms. I'm gonna check one more time very quickly if everything is okay here. Good, so everyone is there. So First of all, before, when I started in illustration, I was just posting on Instagram every day. It was like 5 years ago. I was posting on Instagram every day, one illustration or one drawing. I could barely know how to draw. I mean, I was drawing very kind of 7 years oldish style, and I just kept going. I didn't know, it's true that I didn't know, I didn't care about followers. I was just caring about me getting good at something. And to me, it works when I actually share stuff with people. It doesn't matter where. I just like to share, to show them what I did. And maybe at the beginning it was more like getting nice reactions. But in the meantime, as I was getting even better and better, I started to have clients, and my view shifted from that to how can I impress clients. And right now, it's true that I started to do another challenge. It's my kind of 5th or 6th year of illustration in my career. And I started to do a 365 illustrations challenge, and also this content. So if one day I don't have time to create one illustration, I would create a content like carousel or something, or a reel or something valuable that would make people learn something from me, or get knowledge or motivated, and so on. And when I share, for example, client work, I always make sure that I write about a context and also about what problems did I solve. Just sharing one pretty picture, it depends on like, when you post something, you have to think, what's the purpose of this picture? Is it to inspire? Is it to maybe inspire other illustrators for new techniques? Maybe the composition is nice. Maybe art, this is truly artistic. Maybe to find themselves in the picture, to relate to them. This is another thing. And actually, relatable art, it's very followable. Like, people follow you if they relate to it. So this is another way to get followers, if you want, if people relate to that, and they would share it to other people, and so on. Then ask yourself if that piece of design that you did actually serves any real life purpose. For example, think about businesses. What business would actually use that illustration or art or design, and put it in a context? For example, lately I want to target package design a lot. I started to have clients in package designs since 2 years ago, and I really like doing them because it kind of serve my style. I have many styles, but my favorite ones are very colorful, very out there, and they can be easily used for marketing or advertising. So when someone enters the shop, if they see a very colorful package, it depends, it has to be colorful but with taste, they would automatically be attracted to that. Also depends on the person. If they're more into minimalist stuff, maybe not. But I'm just saying in general. So I started to target that. And at the beginning, I didn't have too many clients in package design, but I started to take those illustrations and learn how to put them in a context on packages, learn how to create an imaginary client or imaginary product. And for example, if you are drawing I draw lots of girls. I like to draw faces and portraits and girls, cute girls. They would work very well in cosmetics. Or right now I had a client just recently. I ended to a project. It was for a tea company, and they were very attracted by the colorful illustrations. I also created poetry, like 2 verses for every tea package under the illustration. So we're going to go there. Extra skills, if you want to have extra skills, is going to help you. But they were attracted by one imaginary tea design that I did before. So it didn't matter for them that I never had clients into a tea for a tea company. They were the first. what mattered to them is that they saw that I know how to put it in a context. They saw that it matches what style they want. I also had a catalog of styles, so they could have tried or choose from many. But what mattered for them is that they already saw how it would look like. So it's very important if you use also mockups. And mockups are, for example, like book covers, package designs where you put your own illustration or design. You can find out on Envato Elements or many, like just Google for mockups, and you'll find everywhere how to download mockups and put them on, put your work on these mockups. And this is a very good way to share your work because people can already see the use instead of showing just the illustration alone. Yeah, I mean, it gives even more value if they see the end use, and especially if you're on Dribble, this is a game changer if you post also how the illustration could be used. It's true that this doesn't really matter 100% because in the end, if a customer or someone sees an illustration, let's say a clothing company sees my illustration on a tea package design, they probably just love the illustration and they also want it for clothing. But what matters is that at least you influence someone or your target to get to you. And this really matters because clients, what I've seen from my experience, they cannot understand that if I do, for example, illustrations for UI, I can also do for, let's say, socks or t-shirts. So it's very important to show a wide variety of contexts, so to say, or mockups in your portfolio, because you can attract as many clients as you want. On the other hand, it might, what I said might contradict, I might contradict myself to another idea on how to niche yourself or how to find an audience or one niche. But at the same time, you have to choose. If you want to be a package designer, just be a package designer. If you want to be a graphic designer and to cover more, then go for it. It's true that it's better if you are targeting one set of, let's say, audience instead of having also a website client or package design clients or t-shirt clients. But the more you will advance in your career, the more you will see that you'll probably choose one that you like best, and you'll just do it for them. Right now, I'm kind of like at the middle of my career, I would call myself, where it's true that I do lots of package design, but I also do UI, illustrations for UI, because this is what I've been doing. This is what with what I've started, and it worked perfectly. So right now I kind of have two niches or two kind of audiences. But that's because I marketed myself as a UI illustrator a lot. Even though my style was very colorful, and on UI or websites, it's better sometimes, lots of times, to have more minimalist illustrations. So yeah, you have to experiment a lot and find what you like best and what you're attracted to and get good at it. This is something I talked about in my last talk, to be the master of your own career. And in terms of platforms, I would say on each platform you have to wear different clothing. So for me, Instagram is more like casual, flashy. Of course, it doesn't mean that you cannot make it businessy, but yeah, there is a place where you can share about your a little bit about you can allow yourself to share a bit about your personal life, but not too much, because then we go back to a problem where people will unfollow because they are there for your art and not for you. But just a bit hints. And I would recommend to start with being very mysterious. Just do your job, post good stuff, and then as you get more and more people following you and the community, let's say, that's when they would be interested in finding more about you. But be so good at what you're doing that they will also want to know more about you. And yeah, I made this mistake and I understood it very late that posting about myself too much can be more harmful than more useful for my career. And I'm not actually that entertaining myself, but I really like sharing a lot about anything, what I eat, what I do, where I travel, and it was very tempting for me to do that. But once I stopped doing that and thinking, oh, let me post about this um, new castle I visited, I don't know where. Once I stopped thinking about it, and I was thinking, what content can I post today that would benefit others? That's when I started also to have more people engaging with me and finding my work more useful. It's true that other people were kind of disappointed that I don't post so much about how I dance or like fun stuff about Barcelona. Um, they were disappointed, but they were not people that would bring me profit. They were just friends and family, and friends of friends who were there not for my art, but for me being goofy. So you have to sacrifice something and have to ask yourself, what do you want? And this is what you'll get in the end. But know your goals very well. And then Dribble. Dribble is where I get most of my clients. And I would say it's very reliable, even nowadays. And I would say there you could be more stylish in your approach of what you're posting. Of course, it's just for business. It's not for, I don't know, it's a platform where you post very well done illustrations, just the best of the best. Also, right now they have those case studies where you can post behind the scenes how you worked, your process, and you can even use it as it's for a portfolio. You can show it to your clients, and you can even put on categories. I have a category: package design, UI illustrations, food, nature, and so on. It's very nice. I'm very happy with posting on Dribble. And then you have Behance, which is like even more stylish than Dribble. I would call it the catwalk or the showroom, but more like the catwalk, because there you have to post really the best of the best. And it's true that you can find good clients through Behance, but I'm not sure if now they still do this, but from what I've researched, Behance prioritize the projects that are made with tools, or the projects that have art or design made with Adobe tools, because Adobe owns Behance. And so if you have used Adobe tools in your work, make sure to point it there on your Behance project, because they're gonna prioritize that. And I was posting a lot on Behance, but I was posting that I did everything on Procreate, and I was barely getting any views, because Procreate is the rival of Adobe. But it's still valuable, and it's nice that you can present your work in very beautiful ways and attractive, and it matters how you present your work and how you share it, because that's when it's like, for example, when someone comes at your house, and it's like a client when they come to your portfolio and they see that it's just messy, and you have one picture, but then you have another random illustration, and then you have another random I don't know, stuff about yourself. They wouldn't be very pleased. So keep it very let's say professional, and maybe maximum on Instagram be more yourself. But on Dribble and Behance, really, that's where it's your realm or platform to be just about business. And also your website. I think it's still important, and that's where you can even turn it into a blog, and that's where you can write about your personal struggles, where people can also learn from what other things you found on the internet, anything that can bring people value, and they can learn from it. It's also a way to write about your process or write about how you work with customers. And next time, if a customer asks you, how do you work, you can just share that blog post. Anything. And right now you have ChatGPT if you are not very good at writing. So you can just go on ChatGPT and say, hello, Miss or Mr. or wherever ChatGPT you are. Please write how to tell customers, write a blog about customers telling me that I'm too pricey or my prices are too high. Write that blog, and then next time if a customer tells you that, send them that blog post, and they're gonna be not so happy probably, or maybe they are gonna be like, okay, all right, I'm gonna give you more money. But yeah, this is more or less how to share your work. Be very careful how to share it. If you put a lot of attention and very nice details on your illustrations and on your case studies, it can actually give even more value to your work than the work itself sometimes, to be honest. And this is where we come to extra skills. And I'm going to finish very soon because this is the last one. Before, I just want to see if everyone is here. Yes. And then we talk to each other. I mean, written. So, first of all, shift your perspective. Learn how to turn your ideas or skills into revenue. You can do more than just cute images AI can steal from. So this is kind of the first idea that I started with. Be more than just an artist. I actually had in my career maximum 3 clients who would come to me with ideas and would tell me just to draw them. Because I presented myself from start as more than just an artist or illustrator. I'm coming with the ideas. I'm solving your problems with my ideas. I will give you the descriptions to solve your problems. The visual is the last one, actually. So I do a lot of research. When I start working with a client, I do first research. I ask them for a brief, of course. I research what their competitors are, so we do something even better. I research a lot about the audience, When you work for a client, when I work for a client, I don't work for the client. I work for the audience. And I tell the clients, if you want to have a successful product, most of them are business clients, but some of them might be like little businesses. I even do a little bit of consulting with them. And I tell them, if you want to be successful, you have to think not what you like as a person, think about your audience. That's very important because they are the ones who are gonna get you profit. So be more than just an artist who draws cute pictures. Think about how you can, what you solve through the picture that you draw or design that you create. Try to think of it more like as advertising, or to be honest, most pictures and illustrations in the business of design are used for attracting more customers, or informing, or helping navigate through a website, or attracting clients or the audience to buy the product, or relate to it. It's very important to relate to it. And then learn communication skills. One of my biggest thanks in my career, I have to thank in my career to my previous career in customer service. So before I started as an illustrator, actually, while I was an illustrator, I was working as a customer tech support. I was working in tech support, and I was working in customer service to help clients understand products. For example, I was working for a company who had projects like Google Drive, and I worked with business clients that needed help to assist them with setting up domains on Google, like Google domains, setting up their Google Drive, and so on. And I learned a lot how to communicate. That's where I learned how to First, understand the problem. What does the client want? Once I understood it, when I write an email or I start to talk with the client, I tell him, okay, from the brief, I understood that, and you explain one more time what you understood because you might have not understood it correctly. And in this way, you already show the customer that you are a professional. You're not just like, okay, yeah, I'll come back to you with the image. No, you show the customer how much time you put into understanding, into researching, into setting expectations, into writing next steps. They need to know in every step what they are going to get from you next. And this is going to help you even in your relation with the customer. You're going to, let's say, get even you will even avoid irritated customers or customers that would not pay you in time, because you will take it so professionally they will not be able to say no to even new design ideas from you, and maybe you can turn the whole project into your favor, so not your favor but into your ideas rather than their ideas. So learn to communicate. This is very important. And look, if you're not very successful right now with illustration and design, and you want some extra work which will get you, will educate you, and also give you money, is find a customer service job or a part-time, or something where you have to communicate and be in contact with people. It will teach you so much. When I was learning illustration, I had a full-time job. After my job, I would just come home and I would learn design and courses about graphic design and color theory, how to draw, and so on. But it really helped me to learn how to communicate, and yeah, especially on the phone to talk so much. And then learn marketing. This is also for myself. I concentrated so much on creating work, but I'm so bad at marketing itself. Marketing this work, it also takes a lot of planning. So maybe this is kind of my next step in my career, to stop a little bit with creating work and concentrate on marketing it. It doesn't matter how. Maybe even carousels or like on Instagram, giving information is a form of marketing. Anything that is available to people and bring them to you, it's a form of marketing. And then business, learn how to negotiate. In a way, this comes with having clients after clients and seeing that you may be asked for too little, or maybe, I mean, it's never too much, it's never too much to ask for too much. But it's very important to think, are you happy with accepting this for this amount of money? And tell the customer, look, I can do this, but I'm not gonna do it perfectly because I don't have the amount of time to do it if you pay me just this much. So just negotiate with them. They're people. They also understand. But don't make yourself their victim, even though they wouldn't even probably understand if you're their victim. But try to explain them that, look, when in this job, I don't do just drawing. I have ideas. I will help you with how to attract more people to your product and your business and so on. It's not just visual included here. So learn how to negotiate with them, and this is basically the business. Also to say no if they don't want you for that price that you are offering. I'm so sorry. I can also recommend you other illustrators. Sometimes I would recommend them, look, I cannot do it for this budget, but I know some other illustrators who are like a beginning that would do it for that amount, and their skills matches your what you want. And then writing, of course, you can learn how to use ChatGPT. And actually, yes, it's not that easy to get very nice blog posts on ChatGPT or Instagram captions or anything. It really does take work. you have to rewrite in so many ways to get something valuable from ChatGPT. But in a more serious note, for example, if you go on Skillshare, take creative classes, creative writing, or communication in writing, or business writing. This will help you a lot also to create beautiful emails. And people will, like clients, will take you very seriously if you are very careful with your emails, how you write them, grammarly, if it's correct. So if you take yourself seriously to up to this point with emails, they are going to already think of you that you're okay, highly respected illustrator or designer. And last but not least, explore and invest time in finding out what other fields would be helpful for you in your career. For me, for example, I know illustration, but I think that learning motion design, it would get me to a next level in my career. And this is what I'm also learning now. I already know how to do, but I want to get even better at it. So I don't know, if you're a graphic designer, you can learn how to do 3D, or you have to find something that it fits your already the skills that you already have. Find something. For me, it's going to be motion design. I know another illustrator who said that she's going into UI because she can do also UI and also illustrations for the UI. She already knows how to do them. So don't be just an artist. This is how to survive in 2023. Don't cry about Instagram being mean to us. Just continue. Nothing is gonna stop. No one is stealing our jobs. And I think it's just gonna be even better if we can turn this around in our favor. So thank you very much for you being here. I really appreciate it a lot. I see that there are 18 people. So if you have
All
any
right. That was an amazing presentation, Danisa. So let's quickly come to the questions tab now. So we have a question from Snelata Mitra. So let me put that on the screen.
yeah, I have here.
Can you see the question, Danisa?
How to define design thinking and find more inspiration. So design thinking, it depends in what area, but in general, I would say it's more like a system. It's not just colors or typography or how something looks. It's also for me, it also involves how users interact with that design, or it can be a tool in real life or a website or anything that has a design, a product that has a design. So for me, it's more about the audience. I think that the central point of design thinking is the audience, and how can the audience benefit from that product or design product, or let's say the tool that was used, that the design was used for. And more inspiration, um, to be honest, even in front of yourself, look at a cup, let's say this cup, okay? You can find inspiration even in this. Are you happy? Are you content with it? Is your hand actually fitting this? Maybe you'd like your experience with this cup is not something that you like. This is where you find inspiration, even in front of you. Create, how would you redesign this cup so it fits your, let's say, how, like your, let's say you want this cup, like these fingers to fit all of them in this cup. Maybe you will want these to be bigger. So redesign this in your favor, or the way you would like to have it. And maybe lots of other people, this involves, so design also involves testing, in my opinion, is to ask other people, what do they want, to research what is on the market, what do people want, and then create that. This is how you find inspiration to create something that people would use and would want, even in terms of design or illustrations, and like graphic design, for example, or web design. finding, apart from finding inspiration, visual inspiration on all these platforms like Instagram, Pinterest, Behance, and so on, you can find inspiration by asking people, finding out what do they want, what is needed, so to say. I hope I answered your
All
question
right.
somehow.
Thank you for answering this, and I hope Snelata this answers your question. So I think that's all for today, and this brings us to the end of this wonderful workshop with Danisa. And this was indeed a value-packed session with Danisa. Although there is a lot more that we could have learned, unfortunately we are limited by time here. And I hope you guys loved this session. Once again, I would like to thank you, Danisa, for taking out time to be a part of this event. So,
Thank
any
you
last
too.
thoughts, Danisa?
From my side, you can connect with me via Instagram, LinkedIn. Use LinkedIn a lot right now. You can even find jobs and good clients through LinkedIn, but also connect with each other. And also Dribble, Behance. You can find me. I think you already got myyogatella.com. That's where the links are for my social media. And yeah, I hope you got more motivated and pumped up to just share your work in the right way. Don't take it personally from Mr. ChatGPT and I mean ChatGPT. We are not um, very affected by it, but yeah, Midjourney, Dali, be friends with them. They are not against us.
Right,
Yeah.
right, right.
So thanks for the having me for the third time.
So,
And
guys, to watch this session and other such wonderful sessions, subscribe to our official YouTube channel. And for all the designers and artists who are listening to this and wish to be a part of thriving design community, visit designhill.com. And on that note, I would like to say bye to everyone who joined us here today. Take care, guys, and stay safe.
bye.